Hey, this is Grant Luna with Fidelity, and I'll be talking about the California homeowners exemption. It's something that I think it's good to know as a realtor, especially if you're having conversations with homeowners in your area. It's another piece to add to your tool belt to turn you into a real estate consultant instead of just a salesperson. And so, what is the California's homeowners exemption? Essentially, it's a form that homeowners can fill out and turn into the county assessor in the county that they live in, basically saying that this is the primary residence that they live at. And they can only do it for one property, and it has to be their primary residence as of January 1st. But what this allows them to do is once they turn in this form, they actually get a reduction of their assessed property tax base of $7,000. They only have to do this one time, and it sticks with the property. Doesn't save them necessarily a ton of money, saves them a few $100s a year, but it does have some integral effects with other California legislation. One of those in particular is Proposition 19. I've talked about that in the past, and if you don't know what that is, there's a link in the description basically showing you Prop 19 and how it works and how you can reach out to people that are eligible. But to actually take advantage of something like Prop 19 and assess a low property tax assessed value to a new primary residence, you actually have to submit one of these homeowner exemptions to the county assessor and let them know that this is my new primary residence. And so I think it's another thing that most homeowners in a farm area or your sphere of influence have no awareness of. I think the average consumer doesn't really know the day-to-day workings of the real estate industry. But this is just another piece for you to start to reach out to people in your farm area. And so how do you actually find these people that can benefit from the homeowner's exemption form? And so obviously we can go back to Old Reliable. We can go to our Fidelity Total Farm account, and we have all of our farms created. If you don't know how Fidelity Total Farm works, there's a playlist on my channel that walks you through all of these steps, creating a farm and navigating the main menu of this application. And so what I can do is navigate to a farm that I already have created. So I can select Hawthorne Farm. For example, this is a farm in the Palos Verdes Estates area. And this gives me all basically 2,000 people in this farm that I created. Doesn't really tell me much outside of name, address, when they bought the property, things like that. But what I want to find specifically is people that can benefit from the homeowner's exemption. So what I can do now is select homeowner exemption right here at the top of the page. It says homeowner exemption. Now gives me just the 427 people that could benefit from this California homeowners exemption filing. And so these people haven't done that. And so obviously now I can reach out to them, and it's a nice warm touch, and I can say something like, hey, Brian Hopper, this is Grant Luna with so-and-so Realty, and I was just going through the farm area that I reach out to consistently and help out with, and I noticed that you haven't actually filed your homeowner's exemption. Do you know what that is? And then now you kind of open up a question and a dialogue and get to educate them about something in the real estate industry that they might not know, right? And you give them a valuable piece of information and maybe even help them through that process of filing that form. And so as always, I try to give you a couple of different ways where you can reach out to these people. I think there's a couple of main ones. Obviously, the first, I think, to get a large number of people at once and give them some information is via social media, specifically targeted social media ads on Facebook and Instagram. And once again, Fidelity Total Farm makes it really easy where you can do that straight through this system and target just this group of people, right? So instead of just doing it on your personal page and hoping that through the grapevine, people in Palos Verdes Estates or whatever area that you're consistently reaching out to will find this material, you can throw it here in Total Farm, and it's going to be seen by people that need this homeowner's exemption and don't know really that it might exist. And so what I can do is make sure that I'm in this farm filter within Fidelity Total Farm, which is homeowners exemption here. So it's selected up here at the top of the screen. Then I can go to this share icon here and select Facebook Instagram ads and then place Facebook Instagram ads. And now it's going to take me into the templates. These templates don't really matter too much. Obviously, you can change all of these and make your own information. So what I'll do is I'll just select a generic template, and I've already created some material for this. So I'll select multiple images because I'm going to do two still images together. And so what I can do is find that material here on my computer, and I can just drag and drop this over and upload files. And then so now this ad will say, did you know you could reduce your assessed property tax by $7,000 by filling out one simple document? And then the next page basically just goes into generic info about the homeowner's exemption, and that way they can have that info on the back end. And so what you can do ultimately is maybe you fill out a sign up form, maybe on Google Docs or something like that, and you can link that as a landing page, right? Or contact form, basically for them to reach out to you, or link it to your Facebook business page or something. Ultimately, get people to see this ad. And so in this case, it might be seen by a few hundred people over the course of 5 days or something like that. But there might be something on that back end now for them to reach out to you about that homeowner's exemption. And another way to do it would just obviously be old-fashioned calling these people. And so I can go into the same farm, the Hawthorne farm, select homeowners exemption here, and now go to a great free resource called FastPeopleSearch.com. And now I can just go through this list and maybe just call them one by one. I'll just get this address. I'll just paste it over to here and search it in FastPeopleSearch. And now I basically have this address and phone numbers that I can work through and find these people and reach out to them and say, hey, Grant Luna with so-and-so Realty, and go into your spiel, have the conversations, throw them in your database, and now you can begin these conversations. So this is just a very small piece in terms of the real estate world that exists that's out there, but it's just another piece that can just give you active touches each week. So maybe just each month you make it a game plan for a farm area to go through all the homeowners exemptions, or every time you're having an open house. Maybe I create a new farm and it's maybe a 200-person farm, and I go in there and I find maybe the 10 people that don't have a homeowner's exemption filed. So just to show you how easy that can be, let's say I have an open house coming up this weekend. And maybe this is that open house here. Maybe I just want to get this block of homes down here. And I can just create this farm really quick. And I'll just finish it here. So now it's going to give me the total number of properties in this farm, so 147. And let's see how many homeowners exemptions haven't been filed in this farm. So I could just name it Open House Farm. Agree to the data use agreement. Now this farm is going to be created for me into my account. It usually just takes a few seconds to actually load, just depending usually on the number of properties in that farm area. Now let's select homeowners exemption. And now there's 26, right? So it's very manageable every time you have an open house. Obviously, you're going to be sitting there for 3 hours a day. You might as well maybe walk around the neighborhood as well and say, okay, I'm just going to go to these 26 homes and I'm going to talk to them about the homeowner's exemption and invite them to the open house. And I think sometimes having things like this in terms of valuable information for people makes these approaches a little less scary. Instead of just going to a door, randomly, you have something that you're giving them of value that can actually benefit them financially. So just something to keep in mind. And if you want to meet one-on-one and go over these and set this up for yourself, always feel free to contact me at 310-480-1085. But even better, there's a couple of links in the description to actually book a meeting with me, whether that be Zoom or in person. You'll be able to see my calendar and find a time slot that works for you. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you soon.